Hello, and a very warm welcome to this masterclass, which is all about personal branding with LinkedIn. We're going to talk about the what, about the why, about the how, and so much more. So have you ever realized that you say stuff like, I try to use LinkedIn, but somehow it doesn't work for me? Or maybe you thought, well, my competitors get so much attention. They get so many likes, they get so many shares that I don't get them. What am I doing wrong? Or maybe you're thinking, you know what? Screw those influencers who say, oh, just do it, just keep on posting, everything will be amazing. It's not just, because if it would be just, then everybody would do it. Or maybe you're thinking, there must be an easier way how to do this. Like, seriously, there is a simpler way, but I haven't figured it out. Because what you want is more visibility, more leads. You want to help other people, and you want to make the most out of your personal brand on LinkedIn. Well, if that describes you, you are definitely at the right place. Let me quickly say hello to Rita, who organized everything. Thanks so much for joining. We also have Nato, Daniela, Beatrice, Kat, and this is everybody that I can see so far at the moment. So, today's goal is to help everybody who really wants to make the most out of their personal brand. It doesn't matter if you work for somebody, if you have your own business, if you're a man, if you're a woman. It's all about really going out there and adding value. So what's my magic tool? My magic tool, I call it personal branding, the Think Natalia way. It's a purposeful approach. It starts on the inside, it goes on the outside. It is an online and offline approach. So only if we take these 4 elements and find a way how to make them work, you will get the most out of it. Maybe a few words about myself. For those of you who see my face for the first time and wonder, who's that Natalia? And is she really worth my time? So my name, Natalia Wiechovski, also known as Dr. Nat or Think Natalia. I'm originally from Germany, but I live in the UAE since, I think 12 years by now. I'm a social scientist, a doctor of philosophy, and I started my career in the educational sector, working here in the UAE, then moved into private economy as a marketing manager. And, at the age of 29, when the big 30 was there on the horizon, I actually had what I call nowadays, spiritual awakening / early life crisis. So I asked myself, what is true happiness? What is true success? Because on paper, everything looked fantastic. But to be honest, I felt sick. I was sick. I couldn't get myself out of bed. And I realized that I don't want to live this way. I wanted to achieve more. I wanted to be more. So to quit, or to cut a long story short, I, in the end, decided to say goodbye to my job, although it was well paid. And, my team and I, we landed on the cover of the leading magazines. We won excellence awards. I drove a fancy sports car. I literally had achieved everything that people wanted me to achieve. And I was like, this is so shallow. So I quit my job. And I decided to go on a self-imposed sabbatical. So I locked myself away for 9 months and then asked myself a lot of painful questions, like, how do I want to live? How do I want to work? With whom do I want to work? What annoys me? What am I good at? What am I bad at? Is it really possible to unleash your full potential? What does that even mean? What if everything that I have ever learned is a lie or an illusion? So literally, I changed the way how I eat, think, consume, speak. I kicked out 85% of my friends and colleagues out of my life. And I said, well, I really work on that thing here. And in the end, I literally created a list with all of the things that I always wanted to do, and failed myself up to my dream lifestyle and job of purpose, which is being a keynote speaker, an author, and a consultant, which is a mix between a coach and a consultant. And my expertise is personal branding with LinkedIn. So how do you build a personal brand, and how to use LinkedIn in order to achieve your targets? So how did it all start? When did I realize that LinkedIn is such a powerful tool, and why personal branding? So during that sabbatical, I studied the profiles of a lot of Northern American entrepreneurs and speakers and artists and athletes and everybody that I found personally inspiring. And I realized what they all have in common is they they first decide on what they're good at, and they clearly communicate that to the world. And instead of, worrying about, maybe I should fix this first, or I should do that first, because again, I'm from Germany, I'm an ex-perfectionist, and I learned that, you only start when you're perfect. And before that, you just don't go out there, and you never speak about what you're good at, because, only silly people talk about what they're good at. You don't do this. This is how I was raised in my culture. And I learned that in the Northern American culture, it's different. It's about, okay, you're good in this, then master this, put in a lot of work, and then share it with the world, because this is your gift. This is your service towards society. Because in the end, every job, think about it, every job on this planet somehow helps another person, right? It doesn't matter if you're selling shoes, if you help somebody with his or her business, if you're a dentist, it doesn't matter. You're always fixing the problem of another person. And so once I realized that, I was like, okay, cool, fine. And then we use social media in order to tell others about our expertise, to add value, to support them. And I understood all of that, and I realized, okay, let me test that on my personal brand first. And if it works, I'm going to teach it other people as well, especially those who need it, who have great businesses, who have great skills, but don't get the money that they deserve. So there you go. I started on Instagram, then had a look at Facebook. Was like, none of this resonates with me. I was super shy, so YouTube wasn't an option. The only and the last platform that I thought could be interesting, where people are really committed to personal development and for growth, and it's not about hashtag on a boat, hashtag no filter, hashtag woke up like this, is LinkedIn. So I read everything that I could find about LinkedIn, and again, tested, experimented, and after 1.5 years, then basically one of my posts went viral, and then a second one went viral as well. So my followers grew from 3,000 to 18,000, from 18,000 to 30,000 people, and today 80,000 people that want to work on themselves, that want to make a positive change towards the world, and that say yes to becoming a little bit better at the end of the day. Okay, so if you're thinking, Natalia, very nice, what does that have to do with me? Why are you telling me that story? Does that mean that I need to go on a sabbatical? No, I told you that story because I fully believe, I know, that people need to like, know, and trust you first before you can make a difference, before they're going to do business with you, before they actually hire you as an employee. And personal branding is a communications tool that you need to use in today's world, and more about that in a second, in order to get there. So, but the 3 steps, now I gave you an overview. The 3 steps that I want to talk about is personal branding, like why do we need it and what is it? Then I would like to dig a little bit deeper into LinkedIn, like, LinkedIn, okay, tell me more about it. Why not Facebook, Twitter, whatever? And then lastly, I want to talk about personal branding with LinkedIn. Does that sound good? Show me a few thumbs up and hearts and whatever you would like to share so I can see that you like this idea. Thank you. We have a few new people who joined. That's amazing. Make sure that you ask your questions later on. I'll give you some insight for approximately 30-35 minutes, and then we have approximately 10 minutes for a Q&A. Nevertheless, you can type all of the questions already now. I have fantastic support from Rita, who's going to make sure that none of your questions are ignored, that I'm also going to see them here while I'm talking to you, okay? Perfect, good. Okay, so let's talk about this personal branding thing and why you need it. Jeff Bezos apparently once said that your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room, which means we all have a personal brand, if you like it or not, because in the end, it's how you look like, how you talk, what you're wearing, the feelings that you're creating in people, the first associations, and you want to make sure that this is aligned with your targets. And if you don't work on your personal brand, if you're like, yeah, whatever, then you're risking of turning into the passive victim of the first impressions or the opinions of other people. So if you want to make sure that what people say, what is written on the internet, is aligned with your overall goals, with your targets, you need to steer, you need to reposition, you need to play with how you present yourself, how you portray yourself. And this is in the end what personal branding is all about. Because once again, people Google you, and it doesn't matter if you go on a date or if you go for a job interview or if you have a company and people are looking for your services. They will Google you, and you have a problem in two cases. Number one, I do not find anything about you. And number two, I find inappropriate material. Ooh, once again, with the right personal branding strategy, you will be able to make sure that you steer the impressions and that everything is aligned with what you do. And maybe one last thought to this topic. I recently heard this phenomenal interview between Joe Rogan and Kevin Hart, and he said that life has a game-like character. And first thing that it reminded me of was Shakespeare, because Shakespeare supposedly once said, what if life is just a stage? Think about it. Imagine life is just a stage, and everything that we do is just theater. That means we need the applause of others in order to be seen as an expert, in order to give our best. You know, there are sociologists like Irving Goffman who said that maybe, we play roles. We kind of change the way how we move, talk, are in different situations. So you have the role of a mother, you have the role of a daughter, you have the role of a spouse, right? And because you know about social expectations and you know about communication, you will always fine-tune everything that you do. I personally believe that this is true. And when we all know that, well, I personally use it to not take myself too seriously, to make sure that I play that game and the way how it's played while studying society. And then, as Picasso said, once you learn the rules like a pro, break them like an artist. And this is what personal branding is all about. Okay. What are the benefits of personal branding? First of all, more money. There is a study that I've heard about in a TED Talk, which says that if you are employed and you have a great personal brand, you will earn between 10 till approximately 25% more. Let that sink in for a moment. If you have your own business, it means that you can ask for so much more money than your competition. With a great personal brand, you will also have more visibility on social media, because I will ask you to post, to engage with other people, to do masterclasses, to go out there, to share your knowledge, and not from an angle, look at me, I'm the best, but from an angle, this is what I've learned. These are the mistakes that I have made. Please learn from me, do it better, save time, money, and energy. Through that, you will get a higher status, you will be more popular, and through that, you will get more opportunities and a bigger social network, which is insane because we all know that your network is your net worth, right? So these are the benefits of personal branding. If you say, yeah, Natalia, but isn't personal branding fake? Well, I think this thought shows that maybe people didn't fully understand what personal branding is about, because it's in the end about you. What do you stand for? What's important to you? Whom do you want to help? How do you want to be seen? Who's your target group? And because you don't do that for yourself, you do that to make a difference, to serve others. In the end, it can't be fake because it's based on your own values, on your own interests. And they can't be fake because it's you and it's unique. And if you say, yeah, Natalia, but what will other people think? Well, if you have kids around, make sure that you put something on top of their ears right now. Have you done it? Okay. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, right? Oops. So instead of thinking about, oh, what will other people think about what will happen if you don't share your knowledge, your expertise. I mean, what you do can help another company, can help another person, can help maybe a whole society. But because you're so afraid of the judgment of others, you're not sharing it. For me, that is a bigger problem than the question, what will other people think? All right, I can see a lot of people laughing here. That's good. We want to keep the energy high. We talked about personal branding. Let's talk about LinkedIn as a business tool. So why LinkedIn and not Facebook or Instagram? Because a lot of people that I work with, for example, in my LinkedIn group coaching, before they work with me, they're like, yeah, Natalia, but Facebook is cool, Instagram's cool. Why LinkedIn? People on LinkedIn are in a business mindset. They are there because they want to generate leads, do business, network, work on their personal brand, learn about business trends. And that's so much easier than to communicate with these people when you're on this platform, because people use Facebook and Instagram tendency-wise, not all of them, in order to communicate with their friends and in order to be entertained, while LinkedIn is more a platform that people use to be informed and to work, right? So mindset-wise, it makes it so much easier for your business and personal brand. Also quite interesting, the average Instagram user, I would think it was like 65% are between 18 and 34 years old. So if that's your target group, congratulations. But my clients are so much more mature. I don't want to say older. It doesn't make sense. So 72% of all Instagram users are teenagers. So again, if you're targeting teenagers with what you do, with how you want to add value, fantastic. But if not, then spend time on LinkedIn, because 41% of all millionaires use LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, there are 90 years. That's crazy. Let that sink in for a moment. Also, Gary Vaynerchuk said that LinkedIn is like Facebook in the year 2012, which means that the organic reach is still super powerful. If you're creating content, a lot of people will see it and will get the opportunity to engage with it, and you will get all of that organically. That means without paying for ads, which is great, especially when you are a creative person. Two last reasons, and then we move into the how. On LinkedIn, you could build a social network of up to 30,000 connections. I mean, on Facebook, you can have 5,000 friends, right? So that's a huge difference, especially when you're a marketer, when you're a salesperson, when you know how business development works. You're like, oh my God, this is perfect. And also the user numbers are quite insightful. So the maturity level on Facebook compared to LinkedIn, again, big difference. Facebook has 2.5 billion users right now, while LinkedIn has, I think, 700,000 million. So we're talking about billion, million, right? Which means that not everybody is fishing as aggressively on LinkedIn compared to Facebook. Okay, so what can I use LinkedIn for? I just mentioned it, but a quick recap. So you can use it to build your brand, to learn about business trends, to network, to create content, to generate leads, to find talent, to find jobs, to do PR work, and to learn, especially when you have a premium options. This is then when you can use LinkedIn Learning. Okay. Yeah, Natalia, but isn't it too late? Like you said, LinkedIn is still cool, but I'm sure you're holding this presentation quite often. I mean, isn't it too late? I heard the algorithm just changed in May. Relax. Of course, the best time to start with LinkedIn was most probably 2012, but the second best time is literally today. And if you say, yeah, Natalia, but my English is so terrible. Listen, I'm a German and I make at least 3.5 grammar mistakes per minute, but it doesn't matter because people are listening anyway and they like me. And I never claim to be perfect. That's not my expectation. I am flawsome, which means full of flaws and awesome. And it just took me more than 30 years to get there. And when you have that life philosophy, things get so much easier. But jokes aside, if you really want to post in English, then get an English coach, an English teacher, improve your English, or ask yourself, do I actually need to post in English? Because when your target group is German, Italian, French, whatever, then speak their language. In the end, your content is for others. You should serve others. And, that's why I would definitely think about it. Okay, third point, the core piece of this presentation and masterclass. I hope you're still excited. Personal branding with LinkedIn. So how to do that? 4 steps. First step is you need to work on your LinkedIn profile. And here, very important, your LinkedIn profile is not, I repeat, it's not your online CV. It's more of a landing page or a web page or for everybody who's like, technology, what did you just say? It's a little bit like a shop window. So imagine you're walking, you're going for a walk with your friend, and on the right side of you, you have a lot of shop windows. On the left side is your friend, and you're talking. You're like, oh my God, life's good, la, 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 amazing. And on the right side, out of the corner of your eye, you see something colorful, you see something different, you see something, wow, whatever. But you're so involved in a conversation, you just realize it. So you keep on talking, you keep on walking, and then you just grab your friend by the arm, like, whoa, wait, I just saw something. You turn around and you see the shop window like 1.5 meters behind you. And you look to your friends like, wait, let me just check that out. So you run back, you have a look at that window, and you're like, wow, this is so cool. Like, I need to go in there. Just 5 minutes, right? This is the exact effect that I want to create with your LinkedIn profile. My job as a coach, as a consultant, as a teacher or edutainer, in love with your shop window, that they walk into the store, that they touch things, that they maybe hold them on, that they try them on. And who knows, maybe they're also going to buy something. Right? So what do you need to do in order to create that effect? Number one, you need a great profile picture. Please invest in a professional photo shoot. So no selfies, no. Please don't. Also important, don't cut out the picture out of another picture. Like, I regularly see man and woman having a picture out of the wedding, like the other side, like the partner is cut out. Don't do that. Or basically, maybe you somewhere at a party, you still have that bottle of beer or red wine. Yes, I've seen all of that on LinkedIn. No. So no spouse, no cat, no dog, no babies, no sunglasses. I think that's it. So be professional. Show people a picture that is a mix between, yes, professional, but also human being. Look into the camera, smile, and if you don't like to smile with your teeth, at least smile with your eyes. A professional photographer will help you achieving that. Then you also need a great background picture. So that's a big picture you see next to the small one, the profile photo that I just talked about. In there, like literally, your creativity is the only limit. Make sure that I understand within a few seconds in which industry you work, what you do, and why I should work with you. Okay? Look for other people in your industry whose background picture you like, and take it from there. Then you need to update your header. So that's basically this small line underneath your name. Make sure that I understand what kind of problems you solve, for whom, and what the end result is. What problems, for whom, and what is the end result. Not just saying you got me with a cutout picture, lol. This is what I'm here for. And by the way, I'm not here to blame anybody. So when I say stuff like that, I do it because it comes from a very warm and a place of I want you to succeed, right? So let me just tell you that. Cool. All right. So we talked about the header. Then you also need to check your contact details. Is your email correct? Is the city and the country that you work in correct? Because that could cost you a lot of opportunities. And also make sure that the about section is up to date. So in there, you can mention your success story, your career. You can say things like, again, why should I work with you? Or why should I choose you? What makes you different? What are you proud of? All the things like that. And in the end, you need to mention a call to action like connect with me, call me, send me an email. What do you want people to do at the end of it? Because if you don't do it, they'll just go away. And social media is an intentional tool. People are busy. They're like zombie mode. Tell them what you want them to do and make sure that the correct contact details are there so they can actually then reach out to you. Okay, step 2, you need to turn into a content creator, especially when you want to be a thought leader. I mean, it's called leader, which means you need to lead. And when you're just consuming content, you are a consumer, you're a follower. I know a lot of people will freak out and say, whoa, but I don't know where to start. So once again, Gary Vaynerchuk has this beautiful model that he calls document versus create. What does he mean with that? Instead of creating like the next blockbuster movie or the next Shakespeare poem, nobody expects you to do that, by the way. It's just you and your crazy mind document your journey. So we all have, a smartphone like that, and you like literally you need to actively decide that you walk through life with the mindset or eye of a content creator. So no matter where you are, if it is a conference, a business meeting, if it is somewhere, and you see a scene, a picture, something, now imagine, like, walk around like this. Would this look good on Instagram? Would this look good on LinkedIn in our case? If there's something that would look great as a picture, and you can tell a nice story, a lesson learned, a failure, whatever, take that picture with your phone. Again, it doesn't need to be a professional camera. A smartphone is more than enough. Upload that picture, make sure that it doesn't infringe the privacy rights of anybody. So if there's somebody in the background, just blur them out or take a picture once again that you don't see that person. And write 2 or 3 sentences. And when you do that, done. This is how you start. And with that, you're going to get more self-confident. It will be easier. Start with documenting your journey. And whenever you have an idea for a post, very important, write it down. So you can literally get, a physical book like that, or you can have your smartphone and a list, and just don't write the whole post, but something so that you remember what it is, right? And on LinkedIn, also important, you don't need to talk business all the time. You can also tell stories. What happened yesterday and why it's worth sharing it, because your content has, in the end, can have 2, let's say, different styles. Either you inform, you educate, or you entertain. So it can be funny, it can be, inspiring. Maybe it's also sort of entertainment, right? So ask yourself in which bubble or in which section you want to create that post, and then, share it with the world. Yes, all right. I'm seeing your comments. I just had a look at the comments. Good. What else? Make sure that you add value. Again, your content is not about, look at me, I'm the best, hashtag so blessed. Your content is about serving others, about giving, not expecting anything in return. Because this is how you build a relationship. This is how you build trust. And the right people who like you will get back to you and either offer you a job or turn into your clients. I know it sounds crazy, but that's how it works. And also important, at the end of your post, please use hashtags, 3 to 5 hashtags. Hashtags are like keywords clients, your employer, etc. use in order to find you, and use a call to action. A question, or tell people what to do, because this is how you start discussions. Okay, then the third step, we need to expand our social network, because in the end, what is a social network? It's a lot of people who somehow know each other, right? So if you have point A, which is person A, and person B, and once they know each other, this is a social network already, and they have the third person and another one, right? We don't want to get too technical here, but this in the end is social relationships. And the way how we human beings work, it's all about reciprocity. It's about I help you, you help me, I like you, you like me. So, social connections or social capital is one of those rare capital forms that you need to use it a lot in order to improve it, because usually when we have resources or capital, when we use it a lot, then the value goes down. But in social capital, in social relationships, it's the other way around, right? So you can also strategically use that to get rid of some people in your life. Ooh, I didn't say that. So you can build 30,000 connections. So ask yourself, how does the perfect network look like? What kind of people do I want in my social network? In a perfect world, it doesn't matter how old you are, which gender you have, which religion you have, how much money you have. It doesn't matter. With whom would you be connected? On LinkedIn, but also in real life. And then reach out to these people. Use LinkedIn's filter function. So, there's this white box on the very top on LinkedIn. So you have the LinkedIn logo on the left, and you have this white box. Type in the title of the person. Let's say you would like to connect with event planners, right? So you type in event planner in quotation marks, and then you use the filters underneath that. So you use people that you're not connected with, which means second degree connections. And then let's say, for example, you would like to, they should live in Berlin. So then you type in, Berlin, cool. And then you can, choose the the school that these people went to or whatever. So you could choose, I don't know how many filters they have, like 15 or something. Choose from these filters in order to figure out who that person is that you want to connect with. Then LinkedIn will basically give you like a LinkedIn internal search engine results page with, let's say, 300 people. And then you can literally go to the profile of all of these people. And if you like them, send them a personalized connection request and take it from there. Okay, fourth step, you need to be social on social media. Very, very important. So you need to invest into your community. Listen to them, make sure you understand them, create content that they want to hear. Don't make it so much about yourself, but about others. When somebody asks something, comment back. Comment on the posts of other people, introduce people to each other, and literally start with 15 minutes per day, and you'll see it works. And from that, you can always scale to the next level. Yeah, so when you say, Natalia, very, very nice, but I'm not creative. Well, I do believe that the word creative comes from the word create, which means to build, and we are all builders. Because if you baked a cake, you've just created a cake. You have designed it, right? Which means you're creative. If you spend a beautiful day with your family in a park, in a cinema, whatever, then you have created a beautiful memory. So I do believe that we put the word creative on a pedestal. Like we believe that creative is like Michelangelo. No, that is excellence. That is mastery. Don't compare yourself with such people. Compare yourself with the person that you were yesterday. If you say, yeah, Natalia, but I don't have time, with all my due respect, I do believe that I don't have time is just a politically correct way of saying it's not important to me. And that's okay, because we all have, how do I say that? We have values and we have goals in life. And based on that, we prioritize, right? So if it's not your goal, if it's not important to you, fine. But then also don't complain that you don't get the results. So if something is important to you, you will design the time for it. I'm 100% convinced, because I have to do that regularly, and I see where I BS myself, and my clients and friends do the same. We all do that. If somebody is important to you, you will find ways, and you'll be, again, super creative. All right, so short recap. You have a personal brand, if you like it or not. LinkedIn is the new Facebook. Create content, be social, and connect with other people, and you have time if you truly want to. So if you say, Natalia, that was amazing, but that was too much information almost. I'm like, I feel overwhelmed. I love it, but I don't know where to start. Well, as you might already know, I have just published my first book. It is called Personal Branding with LinkedIn. It's now available on Amazon. I've published the German version in March. It was a 2 times bestseller, and because people were screaming, we want the English version, I translated it and just launched it. People like it a lot. So yeah, it's out there for just $14 US, so everybody can afford it. Make sure that you grab your copy now. And I'd say it's time for some questions. So yeah, let me know if there's anything else you would like to know. And if we're not connected yet, there you go. This was just the slides so that you can see, yes, I'm active on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. So what kind of questions do we have in the house? There are no stupid questions. They're just stupid answers. Don't be shy. Okay, we have Guillermo. What do you think about when creating an article or research as a post or create within LinkedIn? So that's totally up to you. What kind of content do you like? What kind of content is interesting for you? What comes to you naturally? Are you a writer? Are you somebody who really, really enjoys the writing process? Then you can write an article. If you say, yeah, nah, I rather like a short, on point thing, then use a simple status update, and maybe you can use a picture or something like that. If you say, you know what, nah, I actually want to give people something that they can download, that they also have on their desktop, and I know how to make a document a little bit more visually pleasing, then create a PDF. PDFs or documents, as LinkedIn calls it at the moment, work pretty good. And because it's relatively new and not everybody uses it. So yeah, play around with it, see what your audience likes, and then do more of that. I hope this helped. Okay. Rosemary, any tips on how to create a personal brand on LinkedIn for change from corporate to a consultant freelance? Well, that's exactly what I went through, right? So in the end, just create a new entry, a new personal, how do you call it? Experience, a new experience in your profile that says, I'm now working for myself, I'm a freelancer, whatever. And if you want to, you can also create a company page for that. And on the company page, you can then also mention more about your business. So that would be one thing. Another thing that I personally also like a lot is whenever there is a big change in my life and in the life of the people that I work with, I highly recommend also investing in a photo shoot. So show yourself in a totally reinvented way, and also create a post around that saying, hey, after working in corporate for so many years, super great times, I decided my own thing. So, hey, that's the new me. Let me know how I can help you, right? So that would be almost a semi-dramatic way how you can update your network on this topic, and also through that potentially also get new clients. Okay, Daniela says, now I'm making a list of how can I help others. I love that, Daniela. That is perfect. And you know what? I also have a list on my phone, which I call LinkedIn content ideas. And whenever somebody asks me a question, whenever somebody sends me an email, whenever somebody sends me a DM that is somewhat connected to the topic personal branding and LinkedIn, I write down that question, because for me, it's a real world problem. And my content is like literally 55, 60% all about solving these problems. And through that, I believe, and I can see that people resonate with me. They seem to like me, they seem to trust me because they do business with me, and this is what it's all about. Okay. I've been trying to build my personal brand, but I'm getting very little engagement on my post that I think are lightheaded but helpful. How do I increase my engagement? That's something that Lisa wants to know. Lisa, so there are a few things that we can do in order to increase your engagement. Number one, the first sentence that you post is super crucial. So you need to make it boom in your face. Be emotional, provocative, stand out, catch people's attention. That's the first thing. If you use any kind of pictures, these pictures need to have a lot of color. These pictures, again, need to show happiness or anger or whatever, or trigger nostalgia. This is something that will make a difference because it's a scroll stopper, and this is what we're all about. Then, at the end of the post, it's very important that you ask a question. What are your thoughts on this topic? Would you have done the same? Tag somebody who should know about this. Do you agree? Let me know your opinion. When you do that, you actually ask for comments. And I know it sounds too easy to be true or too simple. It works. That's very important. And one last thing on that question, also make sure that you expand your social network, because I know some people who create amazing content, but they have like 200 followers. I'm like, yeah, that means not even those 200 people are going to see your content. Make sure that you connect with people on a daily basis, with relevant people, not the whole world. And through that, more people are going to see your content. When you use the formula that I just mentioned, it will definitely have a positive impact, and you're going to get more comments. All right, okay, what do we have here? Is it important for LinkedIn algorithms, but also contacts, to see various type of content and not always the same format? That's a question from Berenger. I hope I pronounced your name in a proper way. Good question. I remember having that conversation with a few other fellow LinkedIn coaches and consultants, and they actually asked LinkedIn that question, and LinkedIn answered in a way how you could interpret it this and that way, but from what we understood is, yes, it makes a difference. So make sure that you find a diversity in your content, and also think about your end user. I think it's boring when I see video, or picture all the time. Make it different, find your own way how to play with it. And based on that, you're also going to see what kind of content people really resonate with. Because personal branding, in the end, is self-marketing. Marketing is all about testing, making mistakes, improving, testing, improving, testing. And when you think you figured it all out, well, there is a change, there's a new tool, and you need to start all over again. So yeah, I would definitely experiment with different ways. Okay, Beatrice, whoops, that one disappeared. We take Darko. What is your opinion? Okay, there you go. Beatrice, what do you think about recommendations that could increase engagement? Recommendations are a super great tool in your LinkedIn profile, because your whole LinkedIn profile until the section skills and endorsements and recommendation is basically marketing. It's all about, this is who I am, this is what I offer, whatever. And then the section skills and endorsements and recommendations is your PR section. And marketing just runs so much smoother on PR. So make sure you get recommendations. How do you get them? By writing recommendations for other people, or by pre-drafting, the recommendation, asking somebody like, hey, Tina, could you write a recommendation for me? And Tina would be like, yeah, sure. And then you'll be like, hey, basically I've pre-drafted one, change whatever you would like to change and take it from there. So yeah, because when people visit your profile and they see, wow, she has so many recommendations, that means she's good. That means let me follow her content, let me engage more with it. I think that's the typical thought pattern that a lot of us follow. Okay, Darko, what is your opinion about using an automation post tool for LinkedIn? Or maybe you're using one, if you can recommend one. So I don't use any tools to post my content. For example, on my LinkedIn page, I have a team member who posts the content. So basically, LinkedIn pages are exactly like Facebook pages when it comes to that. So you can add different people who have different roles. So my LinkedIn page content, I draft the content strategy, and my team members post it and make sure that everything looks how it looks like. I do everything manually, because I do believe that when you use automation tools, that has an impact on your reach. And it makes sense, the theory makes sense, because social media is a business, right? And the goal of every social media platform is to keep you as long as possible on their site and in their newsfeed. Why? Because they advertise in the newsfeed, and that's how they generate their revenue. So they want to make sure that the content is relevant, and they want to make sure that the content looks nice and that people engage with it. So when you use an automation tool, it's not really you, and in the majority of cases, it also doesn't look nice. You will see what kind of tool you've used in order to post that. So this makes the user experience not so nice. So I believe that it penalizes your reach. That's at least what I have figured out when I used tools, or automation tools, or how do I say that? Pre-drafted my posts and posted them on Facebook. And I highly assume that this is also true for LinkedIn. Okay, anything else? Any last question maybe? Because I think we're coming to an end here. Yeah, we have women in hospitality. Hospitality. What about analytics? Also hashtags and LinkedIn footprint. So analytics, it's a little bit challenging. So basically, when you have a company page, you can see quite beautifully where your people come from, what kind of, what kind of content they engaged with, how does this post work to this one. So that perfectly works. If you have a private profile, it's not really possible at the moment. There are third-party tools that give you access and data to that. But in the majority of cases, these third-party tools violate the LinkedIn user agreement. So point 8.2 or paragraph 8.2, which says you're not going to use any kind of other, tools that could scrape data or whatever. But I mean, in the end, you need to decide if you want to use these tools, yes or no. By the way, I am not a lawyer. And so everything that I just said right now is something, that you need to discuss with a professional lawyer, and you need to make the decision if you're willing to take that business risk, because it could end up in having your LinkedIn profile closed down. Okay. Good. I think I'll call it a day. Thank you so much for being here, for your awesome questions. I hope you enjoyed the session. Good luck with implementing everything. Remember, all the information herein, again, you'll find it on Amazon. And if you have any questions afterwards, feel free to reach out. Make sure that you tune in to the next masterclass. You read about it or you've seen it at the very beginning, because I think it's a phenomenal opportunity to help others, to grow together, and to learn something new. So I thank you a lot for your time, and make sure we connect and hopefully talk soon.